Looking for these better days.
It is Friday, April 10th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. It's round 2 of the Masters at Augusta. Plus, the latest in the NBA is it's the final weekend of the regular season. And we start another weekend series in Major League Baseball. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mackenzie, I'm just going to come out right away and just admit last night was not a good betting night for us. I know other shows will never do this because people, lie about their records and just claim that they win all the time. But yesterday was a rough day for us. However, I will say that I am taking some, what's the word I'm looking for? Am I taking solace in defeat? Is that the word I'm looking for? You're the smart guy. You went to Yale.
Yeah, you're taking solace. Exactly. You're taking some respite.
Is that the better word? Respite?
No, I think solace is the better word.
Okay.
I think I was searching for a synonym of some relief.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. So the MLB Game Center, by the way, it's up and running up on betterday.com. We are still running the free 3-day free trial for anybody that is interested in trying it out. We did send the link in yesterday's newsletter. I will do the same in today's newsletter. So if you are a subscriber on betterday.com and you're just like a free subscriber, then click on the newsletter for today and you'll see the link for the free 3-day free trial, right? So you guys can check out the MLB Game Center as well as the NBA Game Center and the NHL Game Center and all the tools and resources that we have available for you up on betterday.com. But yesterday I made 2 bets, Mackenzie, based off of the top projected sharpest plays as it's identified in our MLB Game Center. And it was Colt Keith of the Detroit Tigers to go over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. And Ben Rice, once again, of the New York Yankees, after his 0-for-4 with 4 strikeout day, to go over his 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Well, in the Yankee game, the Yankees only had 1 hit in the stinking game. They lose to the A's 1-0. That's all we got. 1 bleeping hit. They got 1 hit in the game. That 1 hit belonged to Ben Rice. So, yes.
He did the best.
No one drove him around, so he didn't score the run. There was nobody on base, so he didn't drive them in for an RBI. But he got the only hit of the game. So I'm taking solace in my loss, knowing that the projections felt that he was the strongest candidate to get a hit and have production. And he got a hit, just didn't get another hit or score or drive in a run.
We have confirmation on the verbiage because solace is, as I'm pointed out by AI, comfort from within the difficulty, whereas respite is a temporary pause. So as bettors, we want to take comfort from within the difficulty, i.e., find that insight that's going to help us win the next bet.
That's solace.
That's solace.
So in the Tiger game,
Bro.
Tigers lose 3-1 to the Twins. It was a 1-1 tie going into the 8th inning. They gave up 2 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th to lose the game 3-1. They only had 5 hits as a team, but Colt Keith, Mackenzie, he got 1 of those hits and he walked. So he was on base twice in that game yesterday. No one was able to drive him in to score a run, and no one was on base for him to drive in a run. So let's just say if instead of betting the over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs, I laid, the -$2 or north of that for the player to get over a half a hit, we would have cashed on 2 of those bets. But I'm not in the habit of betting -250s every single day here. So what are you going to do? We take solace. Those were 2 losses. But I think it goes to show you that the projections on the Game Center are at least focused in the right direction.
Yeah, they picked out the number 1 person to look at for the Yankees, for example. But there was no Yankees we wanted to look at, it turned out.
Yeah. Like if I told you that, hey, our NBA Game Center said the biggest prop edge was, for example, I'll just throw out a random player. We'll call it Steph Curry on any given night. Okay. I know he didn't play last night, but let's just say, all right, our biggest prop edge is Steph Curry over 2.5 threes, right? And then Steph Curry took 19 3-pointers, but only made 2 of them. You'd feel upset that you lost, but would you feel pretty good about the projections?
I would feel great about the projection because there's two sides of it. There's the production, and I'm pretty sure Steph Curry is going to be a decent shooter, and there's the volume. We're generally looking at projecting volume with those kind of props. It's a little different in baseball because the volume is standard. And I
Yes.
guess you can walk
Yeah.
every time and not get a hit.
Yeah, all right, bad example I gave you with Steph Curry there, but listen, I'm trying to explain away. Again, Mackenzie, I'm trying to take solace
Right.
in a bad performance yesterday, but we turn our attention to today in Major League Baseball, where we do have some weekend series beginning, and the action will get started with your Friday day game at Wrigley Field, Mackenzie. Carmen Mlodzinski on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates in Chicago against Shota Iminaga and the Cubs. Cubbies minus 156 favorites. Other notable pitching matchups for today: Patrick Corbin back in the big leagues, making a start for the Toronto Blue Jays against the Minnesota Twins. You know it's our favorite day of the week, Mackenzie. It's Patrick Corbin Day, right? So naturally, we're going to find some way to fade Patrick Corbin here for his debut with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Man. I feel like the Twins are the one lineup I don't want to bet on, though, right now. Kind of a pickle.
We got to do it. Yeah.
We just take the Twins, and the Twins would win 5-4 or something.
I'd probably do it maybe something like Twins or Twins team total over or Corbin earned runs over. But maybe Corbin only pitches like 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah,
So
maybe outs
like
under. Yeah, maybe
outs under, yeah, for Corbin, something like that. Elsewhere, Luis Gil makes his season debut for the Yankees as they are in Tampa to take on the Rays. Yankees minus 149 favorites, and Steven Matz is on the mound for Tampa. Now, a reminder, this is not Steinbrenner Field where the Yankees play spring training. That the Rays are back at the Trop, so the advantage, and the Yankees will still have the fans there, but it's not the same type of advantage the Yankees had last year going down to Tampa. And elsewhere, the Seattle Mariners tonight will look to snap their 5-game losing skid as they are minus 136 home favorites against the Houston Astros with Emerson Hancock on the mound for Seattle. All right, let's get into the NBA, where it was a short schedule last night, Mackenzie, but it did include the Knicks defeating the Celtics 112-106. Jalen Brunson, 25 points and 10 assists. Jason Tatum had 24 points, 13 boards, and 8 dimes. And so looking now at the standings in the Eastern Conference, the Knicks a full game up on the Cleveland Cavaliers for the 3 seed. 2 games behind the Celtics for the 2 seed. There's 2 games left in the regular season here, Mackenzie. The Knicks play against the Raptors and the Hornets. The Celtics' remaining 2 games will be against the Pelicans and the Magic. Is this a non-conversation here?
Yeah, we see this every year at the end in September for the baseball season. It's like they're only 4 games back, and there's 5 games to. Meaning there's no chance. Meaning it's a 2% chance that the Knicks this will make this interesting.
Yeah. With a win, the Celtics would have clinched a 2 seed. So they didn't clinch just yet. So at least the Knicks didn't allow them to clinch last night. But
Not
the Celtics
on our home turf.
Exactly.
This was kind of
Not
set
on
up
our
for
home floor.
Jason Tatum to have his like redemption game, and it did not happen. 22 shots, kind of a lot. This is the court that he got injured on last year after putting up 46.
Yep.
So I see what they were trying to do, but swing and a miss by the Celtics.
Let's take a look at the schedule for tonight. The Pistons are at the Hornets. Charlotte, a 3.5-point home favorite. One team playing for nothing in Detroit. One team desperately trying to improve their standings in the play-in round. What do you make of this spread?
I kind of like the Pistons as dogs here. I feel like everybody plays. This is a warm-up game, but I think they're good enough to still be as good as the Hornets, and the market doesn't agree with me, so I'll take the Pistons.
Heat are at the Wizards tonight. Miami, a 17.5-point favorite up on FanDuel. Elsewhere, the Cavaliers and Hawks will be playing in the immediate revenge spot tonight, Mackenzie. The last game that these 2 teams played, it was the Cavs winning 122-116 in Cleveland. Tonight, they will battle in Atlanta. Hawks up on FanDuel right now, a 7-point favorite over Cleveland.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell with an ankle. James Harden still questionable. Seems like a game that the Cavs will be punting, and the Hawks will exact that immediate revenge we always look for.
It's the second of a back-to-back, but do we enact the Celtics system tonight as they host the Pelicans? Boston right now up on FanDuel, a 16.5-point favorite.
I think we pivot the system here. I think April basketball tends to be overs. We've seen a couple of these immediate revenge pots just be blowouts. I think we don't do the team total. I think we just lay it with the Celtics at home to clinch over the Knicks, the number 2 spot, with this win over the Pelicans.
Well, speaking of the Knicks, they are 6.5-point home favorites over the Raptors.
Well, they obviously lay the money line. They have to keep this competitive down to game 82. No, I don't think that's a factor. I do not think that's a factor.
Orlando is at Chicago. The Magic, a 15-point favorite. Elsewhere, you have the Bucks, 9-point favorites over the Brooklyn Nets. Spurs, 17-point favorites over the Dallas Mavericks. And could we get Wemby playing 20 minutes in this game?
Versus Cooper Flag, it's something poetic about it, if Cooper Flag plays.
Okay. And then elsewhere on the schedule for tonight, you have the Grizzlies at the Jazz. Utah, Mackenzie, is a 4-point favorite. Now, all right, we got to stop presses here. When was the last time, Mackenzie Rivers, here's the trivia. When was the last time the Jazz were a favorite?
We're any kind of favorite, let alone 4 points. They got
any kind of favorite.
They got a 3.5-point home court advantage. They play the Nets. They play teams like that. I'm going to say January. I'm going to say it was just a little bit ago.
Well, it actually wasn't that long ago. March 25th. March 25th.
Days ago. What kind of question is that?
They were a 3.5-point favorite over the Wizards.
Right. They played the Wizards. Yeah.
And they lost that game.
Was that at home?
It was at home. They lost that game 133-110. And on February 11th, they were a 5.5-point home favorite against the Kings. They won that game 121-93. On February 3rd, they were a 2.5-point favorite over the Pacers. They won 131-122. January 30th against the Nets, they were a 3.5-point favorite. They lost 109-99. So since the calendar flipped to January or 2026, 1, 2, 3, 4 times as a favorite, 2-2 straight up in ATS.
The fact that they're 3.5-point favorites only at home versus the Wizards tells you everything you need to know about the Jazz. There's so many historically bad teams that they keep company with each other at the bottom of the league. So
last year, March 19th, 2025, the Jazz were a 2.5-point home favorite over the Wizards. They won that game 128-112. So I think history repeats itself tonight. Let's see. Rockets, 10.5-point home favorites over the Timberwolves. The Warriors, 10.5-point road favorites at the Kings. And the Blazers, 2-point home favorites over the Clippers. Now, talk to me about that game, Mackenzie, because we know how important it is for the play-in standings. The Clippers right now are the 8th seed. They are 1 game up on the Blazers for the 9 seed. If the Blazers win this game tonight, that is a flip in the standings as we get to the final game of the regular season on Sunday. So what do you think happens tonight?
This is a very similar game that the Clippers played last year and won, where they went to Golden State with an opportunity to leapfrog them in the standings, and Kawhi Leonard put on a great show and they won. I don't get this line. I know that they're in Portland, a decent home court, but I feel like the Clippers are more than a point better here. So I think they should be about a point favorite, if not more. So give me the points here.
Okay. Your Tankapalooza parlay, for those who are interested, let's see. It would be the Golden State Warriors money line over the Kings, the Rockets money line over the Timberwolves, even though it's not a tanking, it's just a player availability thing. That is a double-digit spread. We can take it out if we want, but let's just price this out. Spurs over the Mavericks. It would be the, Magic over the Bulls, Celtics over the Pelicans, Sixers over the Pacers, Heat over the Wizards. That is a 7-leg double-digit favorite parlay plus 120, Mackenzie.
All right, we're getting plus money. Nice.
If you wanted to add the Bucks, 9-point favorites over the Nets, 8 legs plus 180.
Yeah, it's a different. I mean, you have to. That's a different handicap, though. The Bucks are not in the. They are part of the tankers. They just happen to be better than the Nets.
So we'll take them out.
Yeah, we'll take the plus 20.
Plus 120. Warriors, Rockets, Spurs, Magic, Celtics, Sixers, Heat. Your Tankapalooza parlay.
The Magic team, who are fighting to be in the play-in tournament or to get a good place in the play-in tournament, are 15.5-point favorites. They got to be the worst team of all time to be 15-point favorites, but the Bulls are not going to argue with them.
It's what a league. What a league, Mackenzie.
What a sport.
What a league. Yeah, just I can't. I absolutely can't. I don't know.
There's only going to be 16 teams in the league, like in a week, so we're almost there. We'll cancel a lot of these out.
That's it, right? Just get me to the playoffs. That's all I care about. Just get me to the playoffs.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
All right, little hockey news. Shout out Jake, one of our Better Day Premium members, who we talked about yesterday, gave us the trend of the Pittsburgh Penguins, 15-2 to the over. What a run that's been on. Well, that run continues as they go over last night against the Devils. The total was 6.5, 5-2. The final score as the Penguins were able to beat the Devils and get the empty net goal. So it was a 4-2 game. The Devils had the net empty early with like 3 minutes left. The Penguins were able to get the empty net goal, to get that fifth goal, 5-2 the final. The game goes over. And congratulations to Pete DeBoer winning his first game as the head coach of the New York Islanders as they defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3. I played the Maple Leafs team total to go under in this game of 2.5, and that was a loser. And now, in hindsight, maybe I should have just laid the goal and a half with the Islanders. But the reason why I bet the under 2.5 is because Pete DeBoer, the reason why Patrick Roy was fired is because the Islanders' defensive structure was a mess, right? And they were allowing too many goals. And Pete DeBoer comes in as a guy known for his defensive structure. I mean, look at how low scoring those Dallas Stars games were for years, right? And so I figured that there would be very limited opportunities for the Maple Leafs last night. And then going up against Ilya Sorokin, I'm like, well, they're not going to score 3 goals. Mackenzie, the Islanders outshot the Maple Leafs last night 44-16. If you told me before the game that the Islanders outshot the Leafs 44-16, I would have told you 2 things happened. 1, the Islanders covered a goal and a half, and 2, the Maple Leafs went under 2.5 goals for their team total. But nope, 3 goals on 16 shots. So sometimes when you're a goaltender, even as elite as Ilya Sorokin, if you're bored the whole game, if you don't face a lot of action, sometimes you get a couple of them that go by you, and that's exactly what happened last night. The third one happening, or one of them happening on the power play early in the second periods. That one kind of stung. So really only 2 goals at even strength for the Toronto Maple Leafs. There is no games on your NHL schedule for tonight. No games. Tomorrow, the league resumes as it hits its home stretch, with it being the final week of the NHL regular season. All right, Masters round 2 today. After 1 round, Mackenzie, your leader or co-leaders.
I tried to tell you. From Ireland, 5'9".
Rory McIlroy on top of the leaderboard alongside Sam Burns at 5 under par, a 5 under 67 round for Rory McIlroy, who just played a great round. He shot a 34 on the front 9, and then on the second 9, can't call it a back 9, right? We remember the rules.
The second 9 in the bunker.
He shot a 3 under. He shot a 3 under on the second 9. So great round for Rory McIlroy. And let's take a look at the updated odds now, courtesy of the FanDuel Sportsbook. The odds to win the Masters, Rory is now a plus 270 favorite. Scotty Scheffler is your second favorite at plus 350. Now, he is 2 under par, 3 strokes off the lead. Your third favorite is Xander Schauffele at 10-1. Xander Schauffele is also 2 under, 3 off the lead. And Sam Burns, Mackenzie, your co-leader with Rory McIlroy. And I just said Rory's their plus 270 favorite. Sam Burns, who's also 5 under par, he is 12-1 to win the Masters.
I was saying Boo Earns. I think he's got a shot. I mean, it's an algorithm that shows your pre-flop odds minus 25%, and then your current standing. And I would take Rory over Sam Burns. It makes sense to me.
Okay, all right. So Mackenzie likes
my fellow Irishman
here. Yeah. Our Bryson DeChambeau bet died a horrible, horrible death when he shot a triple bogey on the 11th hole. Mac, this looked like me playing golf, where it took Bryson 3 shots to get his ball out of the bunker. And you can't do that and win the Masters. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Usually after the second shot, you want to be on some sort of grass or plant product at that point.
Yeah, and then it didn't go well. He kind of spiraled from there, bogeyed the 16th. He birdied the 17th, but then bogeyed the 18th. So he finished his day 4 over par. Not a great performance here from Bryson DeChambeau. I wonder how many times he used that 3D printed 5-iron. Maybe he should look for a 3D printed sand wedge to help him get his ball out of the bunker. Maybe that'll help so he doesn't waste 3 shots there. All right, that'll wrap up this episode of Better Day. Want to remind you guys, you can, again, head to our homepage at betterday.com, learn how you can become a Better Day Insider or Premium member. Also, just click on the link in our newsletter today, or yesterday, but today, read today's newsletter, and you can click on the link to get your free 3-day trial. We're going to leave it running through the rest of the weekend so you can sign up, take advantage of this entire weekend, and see what we have to offer at betterday.com. Utilize the tools. Like a lot of people, and I'm not saying it bothers me one way or another, Mackenzie, but I feel like a lot of people that sign up are not taking advantage of all of the resources on the website. And, listen, there's a lot. So maybe people are just like a little bit overwhelmed. But yes, like, we do give out picks. That's not what this is about. That's not what it's 100% about. We have so many tools and resources available up on the website to take advantage of. The MLB Game Center is just one of them. The NBA Game Center, we cannot forget about that. With the estimated plus-minus projections, courtesy of our friends over at Dunks and Threes. Game projections, player prop projections, the best player prop edges. Same thing with the baseball database. Game projections, final score projections, your prop edges, the top prop edges of the day. So many resources available for you. The NHL first period database. Find out which teams are hot, which teams are not in the first period of games. All tracked, all color coordinated and at your fingertips. So many resources for you guys to use and take advantage of up on betterday.com with more tools and analysis coming soon. We are not done. This is what we do. We provide you guys the tools, the research, all at your fingertips. So check out what we're all about at betterday.com. Follow us on social media as well. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.